Well, there is Cobra in its name, so it's fair game. A couple of things before we start. First, this essay is based on first 3 movies and the 2 Cobra Kai seasons. Never watched the animated series, couldn't make myself to re-watch the 4th movie, and the reboot, well, for better or for worse, it seems it is in its own continuity. Second, this video is going to be heavily subjective, but I hope you will stay, watch, and not prejudge this video before it's over. Third, I personally don't care about spoilers, but many people do. So I am warning you now, there will be spoilers. And last but not least, segments throughout which we are going to explore this concept of symphony of opposing philosophies are the concept itself, similarities that binds us, 2 sides of the same coin, and natural conflict versus friendly rivalry. That being said, let us begin. Okay, Cobra Kai and its predecessors didn't actually revolutionize this concept, but in this era of special effects and battles for the fate of mankind, it is really the breath of fresh air to see an old school battle of ideas. However, before we can see what Symphony of Opposing Philosophies is, we need to see what it is not. For example, it is not the plan of Thanos to eradicate half of all life in the universe to save that universe, while Avengers are trying to stop and then reverse that. To compare that plan to the concept of symphony that I am talking about is like comparing a domesticated cat to a wild African lion. Thanos' plan is just a concept of opposing goals to the heroes, and the concept of symphony is penetrating in every pore of life of characters and their world. This is, however, only the way how symphony, once it is fully mature, manifests itself on a screen. But before that, we need certain criteria to be met, and some elements to come together so that it can truly manifest itself. In actuality, not us, but characters. Details, details. This entails that characters have certain, let's say, qualities. Come on, look at Dimitri and tell me in what world can you see him becoming John Kreese? Of course not! Because those characters from their root upwards are constructed differently. Johnny and Daniel, on the other hand, are basically the same character at their root. Think about it. Think about the first movie Johnny as a character, like you never saw the rest of this franchise. And what can you see? He's angry, he's brash, violent, and always ready to punch someone in the face. But all of those things apply to Daniel as well. And one scene springs to mind. Daniel is trying for the soccer team. And yes, I'm calling it soccer because this is an American movie. Anywho, what happens? Bobby Slides tackles him, and Daniel in return punches him in the face. Excessive much? I mean, soccer is a boring sport where 22 people are running around for 90 minutes hoping that they will score at least 2 goals in the entire match. While most of the game consists of how to bend the rules in your favor and blame it on the other team. And when that fails, they argue with the referee until they are blue in the face. If you haven't watched Hugh Laurie's sketch called World's Worst Football Coach, you should watch it. My obvious disdain for soccer aside, the point is Bobby's actions are at worst a foul, and at best it is a normal thing in this sport. Daniel's actions are, well, you can easily see Johnny doing them. And he actually does something similar enough when he tries to beat the living hell out of Daniel during the Halloween. Not convinced? What about the fact that Daniel wanted to join Cobra Kai in the first act of the movie? The only reason why he didn't was Johnny's presence at the dojo. And lo and behold, when Johnny is nowhere to be seen in the third movie, except in the archive footage, he does join them. Yes, he does think that punching that guy felt wrong, but that only happened because of Mr. Miyagi's teachings. Without those teachings, I can bet my left foot he would be just like Johnny. And to drive this point home, remember this: they both liked Ali, they both dated Ali, and they both were dumped by Ali. This part is the crux of the whole symphony. Without this, the whole thing falls apart. This is my favorite part, by the way, because it deals with perspectives. It is like a big Rorschach test. One person may see a bat, other one may see a butterfly, and the third one may see a demon. Let me give you an example of another franchise. Star Wars. Not the movies. They were fine, but the first KOTOR game truly epitomized this symphony. Firstly, we have the Jedi Code, which goes: there is no emotions, there is peace, there is no ignorance, there is knowledge, there is no passion, there is serenity, there is no chaos, there is harmony, there is no death, there is the Force. The Sith Code reflects off the Jedi one like the light from the mirror. And it goes: peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. And there are so many examples in the Karate Kid / Cobra Kai universe. To even attempt to count them all would balloon this video to an ungodly length. I am going to mention the most important ones.
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir!
Fighting always last answer to problem.
We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition, a man confronts you, he is the enemy.
Wacko teach your attitude, rest in feast. Stupid, but fact of life. Win, lose, no matter. You make good fight and respect. Then nobody bother.
Rule number 1. A man can't stand. He can't fight.
Rule number 2 of the Quicksilver method.
A man can't breathe. He can't fight. Rule number 3. A man can't see. He can't fight.
Rule number 1. Karate for defense only. Rule number 2. First learn rule number 1.
I hear you jumped some of my students last night.
Afraid the facts mixed up.
You calling Mr. Lawrence a liar?
No call no one nothing.
What are you here for, old man?
Come ask leave boy alone.
What's the matter? The boy can't take care of his own problems?
1-to-1 problem, yes. 5-to-1 problem. Too much ask anyone.
Is that what's bothering you? The odds. Well, we can fix that. You like matching Mr. Lawrence?
Yes, Sensei!
No more fighting.
This is a karate dojo, not a knitting class. You don't come in my dojo and drop a challenge and leave, old man. Now, you get your boy on the mat, or you and I will have a major problem.
Too much advantage. Your dojo.
Name a place.
Tournament.
You've got real nerve, old man. Real nerve. But I think we can accommodate you. Can't we, Mr. Lawrence?
Yes, Sensei.
Fall in.
Ask one more small request.
Make it fast.
Ask leave boy alone to train.
You're a pushy little bastard, ain't you? But I like that. I like that.
However, in this world, you don't have two perspectives. You have four, two of which should be accepted and applauded, and the other two should be discarded and avoided. The first one of those which should be accepted is represented by Johnny. I will call it House of Aggression. This house welcomes those who are pathetic losers, nerds, and freaks. The second one is represented, well, I guess since Mr. Miyagi is dead, Daniel. I will call it House of Harmony. This house welcomes those individuals with anger issues, troubled past, and in desperate need of balance. The other two are offshoots of the first two, and they are good example what happens when philosophies are taken to their extremes. The first are the warmongers, neatly represented by John Kreese, and I guess, in some regard, Eli Moskowitz, aka the Hawk. With them there is no mercy, but there is no honor either. The second are the putrid pacifists. There is no one from the original movies that represent this group, but don't worry, Cobra Kai to the rescue. Season 1 Dimitri comes to mind. He is pulling back from it since Season 2, so we will see where it goes from there. But in Season 1 he is perfect for this role, allowing himself to be walked all over, and having overconfidence in others and system to protect him.
I don't care if Yasmin is the meanest girl at school. I'd kill both of you just to get her to spit in my face. I gotta do well on these, so I do well on the actual test. So I get into a good college, which will lead to a good internship, then a high-paying job. And then, after a couple promotions, I should have enough confidence to get a super hot girl.
This thing is also very important, and when done properly, it is like a cherry on top. And yet, there are so many properties that do not utilize it. They either do the first, do the second, or worst of all, they don't do either one of them. The last one, at best, produces weak villains. For example, Malekith. Does anybody remember that guy? My point exactly. And at worst, they are completely unnecessary, like Doomsday. But before we can realize why those two concepts are important, we need to define them first. Primarily, we have the concept of natural conflict, which occurs when one character in the story wants something or does something what other character is completely opposed to. This can be plainly seen throughout the whole story of Cobra Kai. How many times they have just signed a peace treaty, the ink is not even dry, and someone, someplace, resumes hostilities. This is all fine and dandy, but eventually law of diminishing returns kicks in. This is why the second part comes in handy. And let me take a moment to voice my displeasure about the modern anime where someone out of the blue declares to be protagonist's rival, completely forgoing the first step. It is like watching a movie from the third act. Who does that? And with that, my little rant is over. All in all, friendly rivalry is the only way forward. And to speculate a little bit, since as of the time of this video recording, the third season is not out yet, we will probably see something like that developing in the next season. Johnny and Daniel will, I am sure with great effort, reconcile their differences. And we can finally see that peace agreement be ratified and starts taking effect. And with eventual defeat of John Kreese, this will leave our characters with a hole to fill. And I hope whoever fills it will have his own philosophy to clash with our two favorite dojos. But now it's your turn. What do you think about all that I said in this video essay? Feel free to tell me down below.